Dan Blocker, born Bobby Dan Davis on December 10th, 1928, in DeKalb, Texas, grew up in an environment that shaped his character long before fame ever found him. Raised in the rugged hills of Texas, he learned early the values of hard work, humility, and responsibility from parents who ran a small store in O'Donnell. Those daily lessons in service and community left a lasting imprint. Even as a young man standing well over 6 feet tall and powerfully built, Dan was known more for his kindness than his strength. Friends and neighbors often described him as thoughtful, polite, and dependable. His physical presence never overshadowed his gentle nature. These early years laid the foundation for the man he would become, someone grounded in decency and integrity, traits that would later shine through in his acting career and personal relationships alike. Education, discipline, and purpose. Dan Blocker's academic and athletic journey reflected both discipline and curiosity. He attended Texas Military Institute, where structure and leadership became second nature to him, before enrolling at Sul Ross State Teachers College. There, he distinguished himself not only as a dedicated student, but also as a formidable football player, earning respect for his determination and teamwork. Despite his size and athletic talent, Dan was equally passionate about learning, eventually earning a degree in English, and later a master's degree in dramatic arts. This blend of intellect and physical presence made him unique. Teaching came naturally to him, and for a time, he worked as an educator, sharing his love of literature and history with students. These years reinforced his belief in responsibility, communication, and empathy, qualities that would later define both his performances and his conduct in the entertainment industry. Service and quiet strength. Before Hollywood ever entered the picture, Dan Blocker served his country during the Korean War as an infantry sergeant in the United States Army. His military service deeply influenced his worldview, instilling in him a profound respect for sacrifice, leadership, and solidarity. Those who served alongside him recalled a man who remained calm under pressure and looked out for others before himself. Dan rarely spoke dramatically about his wartime experiences, but he often credited them with strengthening his compassion and understanding of human struggle. The discipline and humility forged during this time never left him. After completing his service, he returned to Texas carrying a quiet strength that would later resonate with audiences. These experiences grounded him, making fame something he accepted responsibly rather than something that defined his identity. Finding his way to Hollywood. Dan Blocker's entry into acting was gradual and marked by persistence rather than overnight success. In the late 1950s, he began appearing in small roles on television shows, such as Gunsmoke, The Rifleman, and The Restless Gun. Casting directors quickly noticed his commanding presence paired with a warmth that felt genuine. That rare combination opened doors. In 1959, everything changed when he was cast as Eric Haas Cartwright on Bonanza. The role suited him perfectly, allowing his natural humor, compassion, and sincerity to shine. Haas was not written as the smartest or toughest character, but he was the most heartfelt, and Dan brought that humanity to life effortlessly. Audiences connected immediately, sensing that the kindness on screen reflected the man behind the character. The heart of Bonanza. Bonanza went on to become one of the most successful television series in history, running for 14 seasons and captivating millions of viewers. Dan Blocker appeared in over 400 episodes, becoming the emotional center of the show. His portrayal of Haas Cartwright stood out not because of action or bravado, but because of honesty and warmth. Viewers saw in Haas a reflection of decency and moral strength, qualities that balance the show's adventurous storylines. Behind the scenes, Dan was equally admired. Co-stars often described him as the moral anchor of the cast, someone who treated everyone with respect, from fellow actors to crew members. Fame never altered his character. He remained approachable, thoughtful, and deeply grateful for the opportunity Bonanza gave him. A marriage built on loyalty. Dan Blocker's marriage to Dolphia Parker was a quiet but powerful love story, rooted in shared values rather than glamour. The two met while studying at Sul Ross State University, long before fame entered their lives. Their relationship developed naturally, grounded in trust, patience, and mutual respect. They married in 1952 in a modest ceremony, beginning life together with limited resources but unwavering belief in one another. During the early years, Dan balanced teaching, acting, and various jobs to support their growing family, while Dolphia provided stability and encouragement. She believed in his dreams even when success felt distant. Their partnership was never about ambition or attention, but about commitment. Through uncertainty and sacrifice, they built a foundation strong enough to withstand the pressures that fame would later bring. Family above fame. As Dan's career flourished, Dolphia remained firmly behind the scenes, choosing family over public attention. Together they raised 4 children in a household known for warmth, laughter, and strong moral values. Dan was deeply devoted to his role as a husband and father, often choosing quiet evenings at home over Hollywood events. Friends noted that despite his celebrity status, he remained remarkably grounded, a reflection of Dolphia's steady influence. Dan often credited her with keeping him balanced and focused on what truly mattered. He spoke openly about his love for his family, calling Dolphia his greatest blessing. Their marriage endured the long hours, public scrutiny, and demands of television success without losing its intimacy. It was a partnership defined by loyalty, respect, and shared purpose. Creative differences behind the scenes. While Bonanza projected unity on screen, the reality behind the scenes was sometimes more complex. Dan Blocker was known for his cooperative spirit and belief in professionalism, which occasionally clashed with differing creative perspectives. One notable tension involved co-star Pernell Roberts, whose approach to the show reflected a desire for deeper, more socially challenging material. While Roberts was intellectually driven and outspoken, Dan valued gratitude and teamwork, believing the show's success came from collective effort. Their differences were rooted not in rivalry, but in contrasting philosophies about storytelling and responsibility. Dan found ongoing criticism difficult, as he viewed Bonanza as meaningful entertainment for families. Though disagreements arose, he never wished harm, only mutual respect. Over time, distance softened emotions, leaving behind reflection rather than resentment. Loss that shook millions. On May 13, 1972, Dan Blocker's sudden passing shocked fans and colleagues alike. At just 43 years old, he died from a pulmonary embolism following routine gallbladder surgery, an outcome no one anticipated. The news spread quickly, leaving audiences stunned that someone who embodied strength and vitality could be gone so suddenly. His death marked a profound loss for his wife, children, and extended Bonanza family. Co-stars mourned deeply, describing him as irreplaceable both professionally and personally. The show itself was forever changed, as Hoss Cartwright had been its emotional core. Viewers across the country grieved alongside the cast, feeling as though they had lost a friend. Dan Blocker's absence left a silence that words could not easily fill, a legacy of kindness. Decades after his passing, Dan Blocker's legacy remains defined not by fame alone, but by humanity. He is remembered as a man who brought sincerity to his work, kindness to his relationships, and integrity to every role he played. His portrayal of Hoss Cartwright continues to resonate because it reflected real values: compassion, loyalty, and humility. Beyond television history, Dan's life serves as a reminder that success need not come at the cost of character. Those who knew him spoke of his generosity, patience, and quiet wisdom. His story endures not as a tale of conflict or ego, but as one of purpose and heart. In the end, Dan Blocker left behind something far more lasting than stardom, a legacy rooted in goodness.